What up, YouTube? It's your boy Carter TV. I'm back with a story. This story is called Inside. It's about a boy named Jason. Jason Strodum. Jason Strodum. He grew up in a two-family. No, not a two-family. He grew up with two parents, an older brother and an older sister. The father abused the family. He was a drunk, but he also provided. The mother was a cokehead. The brother, he gangbanged, and so did the sisters, and they banged in two different sets. How that worked was they both respected each other's sets, so when it came to like street shit, they both made sure when it came to them seeing each other in the street, they didn't harm each other. You know what I'm saying? You got two siblings that gangbang, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, they decided to go their routes, they went. And a lot of attention was in the crib. So Jason grew up being abused by damn everybody in the family. Father beat on him. Brothers and sisters bullied him. You know what I'm saying? The mother ain't really give a fuck because she was always on coke, looking for a next fix, looking to stay high, looking to, to avoid what goes on in the household. But when it came to like the neighbors, school, they made sure both parents put on the act for these kids. You know what I'm saying? So that was what he was dealing with growing up. And he had to learn early, like he had to really look out for himself. It got to the point where, his grandfather, who his mother didn't associate herself with, because he was a war vet, he was also abusive. But after, he losing his wife, he was home, he was distant. He was like away from the family. The grandfather was away from the family and he became cold-hearted. And one day he stumbled upon Jason, and Jason didn't know who he was. Jason was 10 years old at the time. He was in the streets. He had just got beaten up by his dad, who came home drunk. So he left the crib and was just wandering in the streets. Now, Jason thought, this way of life was how families was. He had a close friend named Eric, who Eric family was middle class. And he would go to Eric's place, and Eric would notice, like, his dad beating on him. Even the family even noticed. But they thought if Jason came around Eric, that the father would abuse him. So Jason one time was at his crib, and he heard the family saying, like, they don't really want him there. But they also noticed how him and good Eric is. They're very good friends. And Eric was one of them nerdy kids in the neighborhood who always got bullied. And when Jason was around, he stood up for him. So that's why they became very close. You know what I'm saying? When Jason didn't go to school, Eric helped him updated on schoolwork. So the parents admired that, but also noticed, like, he a dirty kid, not knowing his background is fucked up. So that was going on. Jason heard that, and then, he stopped hanging with Eric for like a good 2 weeks, and Eric thought something happened to him. But one day, Jason was just, wandering in the street because he didn't really have nowhere to go. He couldn't go to Eric's crib because the family didn't want him there. And he couldn't go home because his father was abusive, mother didn't give a fuck, and his brother bullied him, so did his sister. What happens now is Jason, like I said, is walking the streets, and the brother gang and the sister gang so happened to meet where Jason was. Now, a shootout amongst happen, and Jason is caught in the middle of this shit. He's hit. He took 2 bullets to the chest at the age of 10. The sister saw it, the brother saw it. All they could do was bow their head and continue to go on with their day. You know what I'm saying? Jason's body was left in the street, bleeding out. His grandfather, who was happened to be walking by, noticed him, picked him up, took him back to his crib, and nursed him back. Now, the grandfather's a war vet. He's also specialized in, the medical field. He specialized in a lot of units when he was in the army. So he took the bullets out of Jason. He nursed him back, gave him some blood so he could stay afloat. And Jason was with him for like 3 days. He was knocked out. He woke up 3 days later in this man's crib. Where his grandfather lived, he lived like a bum, but not so much as a bum. He had a place. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't outside. He had a nice sheltered place. It was organized and everything. Jason woke up one day not knowing where he was. The grandfather just came back inside the room to check up on him, and he ain't know who the dude was. He's like, relax, Jason. So Jason was like, how you know my name? So the grandfather basically like, I'm your grandfather, in case you didn't know. So Jason looking around, he's like, my grandfather? I thought you died. Like, my mother told me you was dead. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, no, me and your mother just don't speak because, like your father, I was very abusive, and I abused my family as well. And I probably ain't going to be able to get your mother's loving or, you know, my daughter back. But I'm changed. You know, I'm good. I'm right. I go to church. I quit drinking. And I'm just trying to maintain. He said Jason was just like, Jason was still stunned, like, how I end up here. Then he realized his chest was wrapped up. He was like, wait a minute, I was in a shootout. He's like, yeah, that was 3 days ago. He said, I've been sleeping for 3 days. He was like, yeah, you lost a lot of blood and I nursed you back. He was like, no way. You, old man? You? So Jason just couldn't believe it. He's like, I can't stay here, man. He said, yo, you're not well enough to go home. So Jason ended up going home anyway, not listening to him. He go home, and when he get home, the police is there. They was asking questions. They was like, we realized your son was one of the ones that was shot in the street, but his body wasn't there. So when the police seen him, they was shocked to see him. It was like, where you been? This and then the third. The mother running to him, acting like she missed him and all that. The father acting concerned. So the police was like, you're going to come down to the station. You have to answer some questions. So Jason was like, I'm not really feeling up to it. I'm still a little woozy. So the police was like, how did you get nursed? And who wrapped you up? Jason goes, some old man bandaged me up. I didn't know who he was, but he was like, he just let you go? He was like, yeah. So the police was like, we're going to come back and do a further investigation on you when you feel up to it to help. And they left the business card. So the mother, when the father watching them leave, starts smacking Jason in the back of the head. Get in the crib. Get in the crib. Mind you, this boy just been shot. He just took 2 bullets to the chest, and you smacking your son up like that? That's crazy. He get in the crib like, where the fuck was you at? Why you wandering in the streets? So Jason got tired. It was like, Dad, I can't do this with you no more. You or Mom acting like y'all love me, y'all don't. I'm getting mistreated at home. What kid want to come home to an environment like this? So the mother was like, oh, shit. The father's like, who you talking to? I'm talking to the man standing in front of me. So the father punched him right in the stomach. Boom, watch your tone. You going to hit your son who just been shot? You going to hit your son? I just been shot and you hit me? Mom, you just sitting there watching? The mother just turned to her head, sniffed her coat. You all right, son. Get up. You ain't dead. So the father was just like, you my son? I love you. But you're not going to disrespect me. Disrespect you. I'm just calling it what it is, drunkie. You a drunk and you abuse us. Mommy don't care. She coked up. My brother abusing me. My sister be bullying me. I can't deal with this fucking family no more. I can't. It's not it. Father was like, get your fucking act together. Well, you ain't got nowhere else to go. And father walked away. So Jason finally got up from being hurt. He asked his mom, like, why you never told me grandpa was alive? So she kind of like dropped what she was doing, was like, what? Where'd that come from? You know who nursed me back? Grandpa. You know who see me in the streets when I was bloodied out? Grandpa. You know who was fighting out there? My fucking brother and sister. And what they do? They watch me get shot and die. They left me there. This ain't my fucking family. So the mother like, oh, watch your tone when you talking to me. And my father is dead to me. Yeah, he abused you. But he say he a changed man. So you think he's so changed? You think he's so changed? Then you go live with him then. You go live with him then. That's my father. I know him. I know the real him. So Jason was just like, I'm through with this. I'm really through. So he started looking in the crib, looking through old photos and found pictures of his grandfather. And the man was really telling the truth. He was really his grandpops. And, you know, he has an aunt and he has an uncle that the mother just isolated herself with because of the father. The father was abusing her, strung her out, got her on coke, this and the third. So he went to the grandfather asking questions. And the father was like, I'm surprised to see you back. this and that and the third. So what happened was the brother was following him. So now he went to the grandfather. He wanted to understand that too, because when they was arguing in the crib, when the father was arguing with Jason, the sister and the brother was upstairs just listening. The older brother was curious. He's like, we got a grandfather we don't know nothing about. So he followed his little brother. So now he went to the grandfather crib, broke into the grandfather crib. Jason, come on, you coming home with me. Who is this old man you talking to? He's like, it's your grandfather, fool. Like, nah, you ain't no grandfather to me. Come on. So the grandfather's like, you ain't taking him nowhere. He say he here. He comfortable. He good. Get up out of here. I ain't invite you in my crib. He's like, listen, old man, I'll beat the fuck out you. The old man was like, you could try, young buck, but I'm an old man. I got more experience than you. And that little shooting you did out there with your sister and your brother died on the floor, it says a lot about you. So the older brother got tight. He swung on him. The grandfather, he was a war vet. He know how to mix martial arts his shit. Flipped him. Boom! Dropped the older brother real quick. So Jason was taken back, like, what the fuck? So the brother got up and squared up. Now the brother was a straight street fighter. He straight street shit. But the grandfather, he was more into mixed martial arts. He knew all those CIT moves and all that crazy shit. So he was just giving the brother a good ass whipping. Boop! 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 Breaking him up. Beat the brother up so bad he left. He was like, Jason, fuck it. You stay here then. I'm out. So Jason told him, he was like, yo, you know he gonna come back, right? He said, I know. I'll be ready for him, though. So he was like, Grandpa, where you learn those moves from? He said, boy, I've been in the war. I know a lot. Jason was like, teach me. He said, you don't want to learn what I learned. I learned deadly moves to kill people. Jason was like, I need to learn how to defend myself. I need to learn how to defend myself from people from school, my brothers and my sisters, and also my father. You must know. So the grandfather's like, nah, I can't do that, man. You know, I can't teach you. These is deadly weapons. These is deadly weapons. Like, you learn these moves at school, you could really hurt somebody. He said, Grandpa, to be honest with you, I just want people to leave me alone. I want to live a normal kid life. And I can't do that if I'm constantly getting beat up every day. You seen me. I damn near got killed out there on the street for just walking the street. Come on. Teach me something. I ain't learning nothing at home. Next time you probably see me, I'll be in a funeral, be in a casket. So the grandfather was like, nah. So Jason was like, you not going to help me either? Damn, I really lost my family. So as he started leaving, the grandfather was like, Roy, come back. I'll train you. I'll teach you to everything that I learned and to learning, and you going to learn too. So Jason was like, I bet. But first, you got to get better. You know what I mean? You're not going to get better all day. So the grandfather told him, you got to do some push-ups, you know, you got to do regular routine workouts. We're going to start going running. So Jason started going to the grandfather every day after school. You know what I'm saying? He started going over there. They started building a bond. He was with the grandfather for about 2 months, learning everything he could learn, eating what he eating. They having moments. They spending time together. The grandfather was liking that Jason was coming around. He had a reason for him to come around because he needed to learn something. So he was learning it for like 2 months straight. He was learning what the grandfather was teaching him. He was learning how to use a knife. He was learning how to hide a knife. He was learning how to shoot a gun. This is a 10-year-old little boy learning all this shit. He was learning what type of poisons could do this. He was learning this and that and the third. This little boy was learning. He was learning. He was going to school, more confident with himself. You know, the grandfather was helping him switch up his style of clothes. So he was learning everything. And then the 3rd month, he saw Eric at school getting bullied. Eric saw him and kind of put his head down because he knew Jason wasn't going to come save him. For some reason, Eric thought he was alone. So, boom. Now, the bullies that's bullying Eric was in the sisters' gang. You know what I'm saying? They bullying Eric because he a punk. You going to give me your bread, I'm going to go get this lunch type shit. So, he saw Eric getting bullied. He walked over there like, yo, leave him the fuck alone, dope. Now, he talking to an older kid. He's like, yo, who you talking to? Oh, ain't this such and such little bro? We thought you died back in that shootout. He said, obviously I didn't, motherfucker. I'm still standing. Now, he talking to these older kids like this, and he a 10-year-old boy. He said, yo, this little nigga got heart. You ain't like your punk-ass friend. And the dude putting his hand in his face, and then he slapped his hand. And, yo, stop putting your hands on him. And when he did it, it kind of took the big boy back. Like, whoa, that was some power you got there. So Jason was like, yo, I told you once. I ain't going to say it again. Leave him alone. He grabbed Eric. Yo, come on, we out. We out of here. So Eric and him started walking. He was like, yo, little nigga, where you going? He went to grab him from the back, and Jason caught him. Clipped his arm, flipped him. Flip. Boom. Dropped him. So the other two looking like, oh, shit. The nigga looked up. He like, wait a minute. Nah, let's get it on, little nigga. You about that, right? You about that. So Jason like, so what's up? He took one step, and the boy swung straight jab. Jason counter, uppercut. Boom! Right in his chin. Stunned him. Light little uppercut. Boom! Stunned him. He started doing his moves as grandfather was teaching him. So all the other kids watching, oh, they about to fight. They getting it on. They getting it on. This big boy grabbed him up, tried to fold him. Right? Jason grabbed him by his leg. So he tried to lift Jason up. Jason used his foot and kicked him right in his mouth. Bing! He dropped Jason. Jason come up from under him and then dropped him. Boom, from under his foot. And then twisted his leg in some type of submission. And nigga like, get off me, get off me, get off me, get off me. So other niggas, they tried to jump in. Boop, boop. Jason seen them coming. He flipped up. Whoop. Them niggas like, oh. Right? So it's 2-on-1 now. 10-year-old little nigga getting it in. What that? So they squaring up.